Hello and welcome to another video with me, Veerle, about the lunar eclipse. Just five things and an extra thing, probably one or two, but five things that you do want to know in a analytical way, step by step. What is important around this lunar eclipse? A lot of videos available for you on my channel. Definitely also I'm going to put a link at the end of the video of the other video I made about the lunar eclipse, which is a bit more in depth for all the signs. But this is to know very much the key energy. And first of all, introduction here. First things first, is this a bad lunar eclipse? Is this a good lunar eclipse? Come on. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for the fact that this is a difficult eclipse or a challenging eclipse or a bit of a drama or this or that. Hey, you are the captain of your ship. You can make this eclipse however you want to make it. Yes, it can be harsh or it can be challenging, but we have a lot of power. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. I sense that a lot with people who want to have readings, for instance, and oh, I'm so afraid about this lunar eclipse coming up. Oh, I'm so afraid about this or that. Stop watching YouTube videos then when you are, because that's not why astrology is around. It's not to make you afraid, it's to empower you. So you have to know how to use it. So when you see in the sky what is called a harsh aspect, like this one with the lunar eclipse, the Uranus square Saturn, it doesn't mean to say that this is going to be evil. It's how you handle it. It's the strengthening of the character, basically, that is challenged here. That no matter what, no matter if it's even going to be a very difficult one, come on. Let's see how it's gonna strengthen me. And that is how I invite you to look at these videos and to look at these, especially astrology. It's neutral, believe it or not. Astrology is neutral. Saturn, it's not bad or good. Jupiter, it's not bad or good. It is what it is. But it's what you make out of it, what you perceive out of it. And that is going to be different from astrologer to astrologer, no doubt about it. But the key thing is that astrology is to make us aware, to make us more conscious, to see it as a tool. It's the language of God, it's the language of nature. It is how it is. So I wanted to stress that before I start this video. So you have power. No, you're not God, thank God. But I mean, it humbles us, doesn't it? That we are part of nature. And yes, we can co-create and so on, but it all starts with how we view things. So that is very powerful. Okay, now let's get started. What is this? The first thing, what is this all about? Well, it's this, look at this beautiful thing here. It's about a full moon, first and foremost. Yes, on the 8th of November, we're going to have a full moon. We're going to have a moon in Taurus. I put it in green because, that's the color of Taurus. The moon in Taurus, 16 degrees. And the sun is going to be in Scorpio, also 16 degrees. So it is what we call a full moon. And a full moon is moments of clarity. It's moments of clarities. Yes, it's an opposition, which means it's like, how do I... a bit of a paradox, you could say. How do I put these two energies together? Right? That is like a full moon. But the thing is, it's in Taurus, that moon. So it enlightens a very Taurus kind of vibe, a Taurus Scorpionic kind of vibe. And that is the vibe of value. I can't stress that enough. What is valuable in your life? What is not valuable in your life? What is you want quality. When you have Taurus in your chart, you are definitely a person, whether it is your moon or your sun or a Venus, a Mars, there are some traits about Taurus that are important. And for all of us, we are now challenged in this full moon. Things are going to be very much open and clear around What is important in our lives? What do we value in our lives? And that is the Taurus moon. Is it a skirt that I like that is from a certain quality? Do I rather like that one shirt instead of 10 shirts of like €2, for instance, or $2? It's 10 different shirts, but it's of a low quality. And what are you gonna pick? You know, the Moon and Taurus person is gonna pick that one skirt of quality. Again, this is as an example. It is about what is worth, how we value ourselves depending on where it is in the chart. It is about what is valuable. It is also about what is mine. Mine, you know, like in Nemo. Mine. I remember that movie. It was a lovely time. Anyway, so what is yours versus what is others? Remember, it's the sun in Scorpio. And I didn't draw it, but Venus is there as well in Scorpio. So it's also a bit like moon opposite Venus. So what is that all about? It's about what is mine and what is yours. And we don't take what's not ours, normally speaking, right? It's a lot about envy, and it's a lot about what am I going to do? The dark side of Scorpio is like manipulation, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to take what is not mine, but I'm going to do it with manipulation and so on. I think about I recently resaw the movie of House of Gucci. You know, that woman that was so, it was a scene like she was talking she was talking on her vacation. No, it was not a vacation. She was talking to the woman that she felt her husband was falling for. And she was, with her cup of coffee, talking to that woman like, with her Italian accent. She was saying like, look, I do not take from other people, right? So she was actually telling that woman that she had to, not even think about taking her husband, right? And but actually, for the viewer, it's very confrontational because she was also taking something from her husband, which is like the Gucci thing. But anyway, it was very Scorpionic. Looks up her chart, by the way. She had Venus in Scorpio squaring Pluto. So what a Plutonic, Scorpionic movie that is. And watch it if you are interested in that, because it's very good energy for it with the Venus in Scorpio. But anyway, I'm digressing. The full moon means there is something about what is mine, what is yours. Taurus protects what is theirs. Scorpio is about recognizing the dark side of value, which could mean, having a desire for the stuff or for the people that you want, but that is dark if you are chasing that, so to speak. It's like the femme fatale that goes for the married husband, for instance, and takes away that husband. It's that kind of energy. It's that dark side of Scorpio. And don't forget, we all have the dark side, but we all have that. We all have those. It's very human. It's very human that if we don't have if we are driving, for instance, a Nissan Micra, and we have a friend that is driving let's say, a Range Rover, it's a very natural thing to rather envy that, instead of saying like, which would be standing above that envy, which would be like, hey, if my friend has that, and I'm letting myself inspire so that I can get there as well. If I really want that Range Rover, what is that friend doing? So I can copy paste that. That is way stronger already, but it's standing above your nature, basically, which is the nature of people. It really is Scorpio is about seeing that. It's about seeing your own darkness, and it's about putting a smile on your face and saying, nah, I'm not going there. You see, it's like the devil card in the tarot. It's you're changed by it, you know, by your own desire. But Scorpio is about standing above that and seeing it and being a better person just because you want it. And that is what this full moon is all about. It's about value, and where do you lack it, where do you have it, where do you want to improve it. Okay, second point is that it's an eclipse, of course. It's an eclipse. And what does that mean? An eclipse means, so every month, of course, we have a full moon. We know that. Every month we have a full moon. So every month around this time we have a full moon in Taurus. No big deal. It's now on the 8th of November. But the difference is, this is at 16 degrees. The difference is that the North Node is involved. It's at 13 degrees. And the South Node as well. South Node is also at 13 degrees. So what is that all about? That is why it is an eclipse, by the way. So what is that all about on an astrological interpretation level? What does it mean? It means that the North Node is a pointer to the future. The South Node is a pointer to the past. It's our karmic energy. So what I was talking about, this scorpionic, so people who've got the South Node in Scorpio, they come from lives with a lot of Scorpio energy, a lot of darkness, and a lot of, we all have Scorpio in our chart, by the way, but people with the South Node there, they come from lives where there was a lot of scorpionic energy. So a lot of energy behind the surface that we don't see, but that we feel, you know, it's a water sign. And it is how to let go of those negative energies, that negative emotions that are sabotaging ourselves and that are causing grief and troubles, not only in our lives but also in other people's lives. Toxic energy, you know, we think, oh yeah, it's so easy for us to say, yeah, that's a narcissist, or that is a toxic person. Hey, but look at ourselves. I mean, we are all toxic every now and then. And so pointing it to others, which is going to happen a lot with this opposition, it's not going to make a lot of difference. It's not going to improve your life. So it's a lot about looking at where you can let go of this toxic energy, and also people around you, and how to go towards value, how to go towards more value in your life, how to go towards more, you know, the Taurian, the quality person that wants quality, the good wines and the good, I don't mean expensive here, you know, it's a misunderstanding. Yes, often when you have a pen that is 10 times more expensive than another pen, it's supposed to be better quality, but not always, you know. Good quality and good nurturing of the self, you know, the good foods, the comfort zone to make yourself comfortable. And you're only doing that because you value yourself. So it's that part that of all of us that we are invited to go towards more value in our you know, self-esteem, basically, to go towards the self-esteem so that we can say no to the toxic people, but also to go towards the self-esteem instead of pointing the finger and say they're a narcissist, to say to yourself, hey, at least I'm not going to put out that vibe of narcissist. By the way, we all have those traits, narcissistic traits. I mean, I'm talking now about people who are really doing that in a bad way to put you down, in other words. But anyway, so the nodes are adding some sort of, you could say, fatal kind of energy. So fated events, fated things, karmic things that are there. You know, it's from the karma, that scorpionic patterns that we have that are reoccurring all of the time, so that we can heal it, so that we can transform it. So where are the patterns for you that are coming up again and again and again, and they're negative, and you think that you've you've done it, you know the lesson, and it's coming back again. It means that it needs another step of transformation. It's nothing more, nothing less. It means that it's, and what can help? Clarity. So, which is what a full moon and certainly a lunar eclipse can contribute towards. So that's the second thing. That's a good thing. The third thing that is really, really important is that this is, and it's probably the most important thing, this moon here is exactly conjunct Uranus. So we've got Uranus here at 16 degrees as well. Do you see it here? Yeah. Oh, it's a bit upside down. But anyway, 16 degrees of Taurus. What does that mean? Moon conjunct Uranus. Well, that is a very significant thing. It's a very important thing to know, that what has to do here with value, it's to free us up. So there's a lot of freeing up energy. When we talk about Uranus, Uranus is an outer planet. It's a planet that is not personal, but when we have it with a personal planet like the moon, it's getting personal. And the thing is, the positive side of Uranus is to liberate you. It's to free you up. It's typical when people have like a Uranus on the moon transit, for instance. It's, or a person, let's start with a person natally with Moon Uranus in their chart, like me. I can talk out of experience. But that is a chart of very independent people. That is a chart of people who are going to say at a certain moment when they are, especially when they are threatened and when they are put in a corner, they're going to cut cords. They're going to cut cords. They're going to say, take it or leave it. You know, it's like a bit the avoidance style, you could say, but it's because of out of a defense. That is the Moon Uranus person natally. But in a good way, it is someone that is independent. It is someone that is not going to compromise. It is someone that is very authentic and very honest and very real. Now, having this in an opposition, or if you have that even in a transit, it shows that certain habits, which is the moon, certain things that have always comforted you, it's not there anymore. So Uranus with moon makes a kind of a clash of a very unstable feeling. So when Uranus is with the moon, there is going to be a lot of instability and a lot of don't panic now, because the next point is like balancing that out. The fourth point. But anyway, so Uranus it doesn't want to make things unstable. It wants to free us up from things that are not good for us anymore, for our growth. So again, this is about value. This is about the thing that we want to claim, that we want to own, or that we own, but we will have to make that very independent kind of expression to it. And it is unsettling, because Moon with Uranus is very unsettling energy. It's like, I'm leaving everything behind and I don't know what's coming, but hey, I know that it is better for me and good for me than a situation that I've had it. It's to get out of a rut, you know. You see a lot of people with Uranus transits on their moon when they want to get out of a rut, when they want to get out of an old situation. When I, for instance, had Uranus coming towards my moon, I started with astrology. I wanted to get out of a rut of the company that I was working in. And that Uranus was really, you know, it doesn't do anything, the planet, but it reflects the newness, the excitement, the uncomfortable, because you have to be very safe first and foremost before you can make a huge jump. So this Uranus on the moon, if it would be only that we are having, but which is not the case, but if we would have only this Uranus on the moon, there would be a lot of people who would cut cords, who would cut bridges, or how do you say that? Who would say enough is enough, you know, and with all the consequences, of course. So let's say, for instance, you're a 30-year-old and you already had a 10-year career in a certain company, but you stuffed it up so much, your frustration that this was not good and that was not good and that was not good, and all of a sudden we've got this Moon Uranus on a specific point in your chart, and you're saying, cutting the cords, I'm going. Thank you very much. I'm leaving. Of course, with the consequence that you might not be able to pay your bills, you might have to look for moving the house or selling the house and etc., etc. These things. But a Moon Uranus person, all of a sudden, or a Moon Uranus person who's got this transit, or like now in the energy, people are really, the feeling of restlessness and the desire for a new life is bigger than the consequences and the fear for the consequences. So you see, if we would only have that energy, we would throw out a lot of things and later on see the consequences. But sometimes we have to deal with those stuff in our lives, and sometimes that is the way. I see a lot of people, not now because now we have that square to Saturn, but I've seen a lot of clients going through Uranus transits on its own, without a Saturn transit or without another transit trying to compensate that energy. And they do cut cords like that. And yes, it's hard, it's harsh, but they are free. And it has a price, you could say. Now, and this is the fourth point, this Uranus moon squares up to Saturn. So at the same time, so this is making everything very different of this energy. So we have a square, you could say, between Saturn in Aquarius at 18 degrees of Aquarius. So it squares up to that energy. Now this means that, yeah, I want to change, absolutely. I want to have newness, I want to have excitement in my life, period. I want to get out of a rut. But if I'm going to do that, it's going to demand some getting away from my stability, but not totally, right? So I'll give you an example. When I did the astrology, or started with the astrology, there was a similar thing going on. It was in 2009. There was also an aspect between Saturn and Uranus. It was different. It was not a square but an opposition, but it's the same energy. It's like you have to start something new when you have that on a personal chart, but you also have to stick to the old. Now, sort it out. Thank you very much. And the thing is, it's the best energy. So when we are having nowadays Saturn, which is the opposite energy of Uranus, it wants to say, same old, safety please, thank you very much. I know what this is all about. It's comfy. It's I fear the future. I want to stick to the old. I want to stick to what I know. Versus Uranus, this is new. This is exciting. I'm longing. I'm desiring for the new thing. But it's mixed together, which is, by the way, this is astrology, by the way. Is that good? No. Is it bad? No. It is the energy that we have now, that we need. It's nature. It's what we... When we work with it, it's the best. It's going to make our lives more fluent when we go with this Saturn-Uranus square, which is like, yeah, do start new things. Go for the new value, but also take into account that you can't diminish your old life all of a sudden. You have to do that in steps. That's the secret of a Saturn-Uranus square. I really like that, especially for people who are a bit anxious. This can be the perfect aspect because it's about taking small steps to the new life, which is, again, to refer to my example, because it's a perfect example of the Saturn-Uranus energy. So what did I do? I didn't say to my old, to the company that I worked at, stopping all of a sudden. No, I went from full-time to part-time. I worked part-time in the company, and I started for part-time to do astrology. So I did the 50-50, which is was it happy? Was I happy with that? Not at all. It was frustrating because I wanted the Uranus, full on. Remember, Uranus is further away than Saturn. Uranus is stronger than Saturn. Absolutely. It wants to free us up. It's way more, you could say, further in in the solar system, but whatever, it is the strongest planet is the one that is the furthest away, like Pluto. Like if you have a Pluto transit, you don't have to look at a Saturn transit or at Jupiter transit. It's all peanuts, you know. You have to focus on that Pluto transit. But anyway, so if you've got that square or that tension between Saturn and Uranus, the astrologer immediately knows that, okay, newness is coming, but this person will have to do it in small steps. So when that aspect was there, working at the same time, the Saturn-Uranus, I was with one leg in the astrology world, which I loved, which was exciting, which was Uranus, but I was also with one leg in the old life. You know, the company, even the 50% was getting too hard for me. You see what I mean? And once Saturn is gone, Uranus is full on. And we're all gonna feel that because next year the Saturn-Uranus square is over. So we are going to feel full on. So it's very important to know that. And it's very important for now to stick with the feet on the ground and to not do crazy stuff like, yeah, I'm going to start a B&B and, you know, I'm fed up, you know. Of course, a lot of younger people are going to do that faster than other people, but also a lot of people who are like getting frustrated, they have to think about this energy. What is the best energy now? It's doing it step by step. Like, yeah, you can go for the B&B and you can look things up and start already your contracts and whatnot, but also lower the energy that you're putting in the old life, in in a company that you work for, or whatever it is. So it's really fine. It's you could say it's frustrating energy for sure, but you're already doing some steps towards your new life. So you're getting further, you know, you're growing faster than you think. And I remember that when this Saturn was done, the Saturn-Uranus opposition that I had, and the Saturn was away from the Sun. So I'm talking about personal planets, these transits here. I was doing astrology full on. So everything is timing. Everything is there for a reason. And that is the strength of astrology when you do see those on a higher level, those energies going on, and you adjust to them, and it's like saying yes to nature. It's like saying yes to the universe, and it makes it so much easier. So where is it that you need to start these new things? And it depends on your character, of course. If you already have a temperament of wanting to do new stuff, it's going to be way more difficult for you to be in the old stuff, right? If you have a character that is more Saturnal, so more typical aspects that you have, for instance, a Sun conjunct Saturn or a Moon opposite Saturn, you're going to have more difficulty with starting those new things. So what is it in your life that you need to start new, or that you need to stick still a little bit to the old, and finding that balance? That is also where this, you know, that this is all about, this energy. It's a lot about the Saturn-Uranus square, how to deal with that in its best. It's time sharing. And then the last point, the fifth point, is about the opposition between the Moon and Venus. This is a bit less important, but I want to, because it's a very timely couple of hours that the Moon is going to oppose Venus, because remember, I think it's a very interesting thing that is happening at the same time with this full moon. So Venus is going to be here in Scorpio. I don't know the degree for sure. Is it around 20? Let's peek into a lot of people have been commenting on this book. I really love this book. You know, it's lovely. I feel like the Harry Potter, like the wise woman who is saying to you, what is all going to happen? You know, we have to take life a little bit with a light energy as well. I'm just being a bit clumsy now, not finding what I want to find here. Venus at what? 20. Venus is going to be at 20 degrees of Scorpio, so the moon will After that full moon, it's going to bump into Venus, right? The moon in Taurus opposite Venus in Scorpio. I already talked about that in the previous point, but what does that mean? It means it's a sense, it's one of my least favorite aspects. Why? Because it's a discontentment. When I see this in a natal chart, it is often a person that has challenges with being content. Because one part wants the moon in Taurus, which is you could, when you relate it to a relationship, for instance, let's say this is the horoscope of a man. And a man has moon in Taurus and Venus in Scorpio. This will be typically for this person a challenge and of course a theme for a lifetime to work towards being attracted to a moon in Taurus kind of woman, which is, you know, the comfort, which is, I know what she's going to say or not say. I know that on a Monday she's going to cook for me a meal, and on Friday we are going out for dinner. And, you know, she's predictable, and I love that because that my sense of stability that I need, she fulfills it. Excuse me, but that is in an opposition towards Venus in Scorpio, which is a very sexy, attractive woman that I also like, that I am sexually attracted towards, but she's definitely not stable, or in a way I can't predict what she's gonna do. You know, sometimes she's like this and other times she's like that, but I kind of find that exciting and very you know, it's very powerful. I'm attracted to powerful women who exude this sense of power in a particular way. And but do they give me security and coziness? Not at all. They give me excitement. So that is an opposition that we also will feel. I'm giving you the example of this man, but we will feel this also, that some parts or some things or some people are going to give us comfort. But at the other hand, it's in an opposition to other people. We want for the excitement there, or we want for the more, you could say, not the comfy thing, but the more, a bit the darker side, and a bit the more, you could say, the excitement side. It's not dark, it's just more exciting, and it's just more of an opposition here of how do I get both? You know, when I'm attracted to a woman who's very moon Taurus, I will not get that very sexy woman there. When I'm attracted to a very sexy woman, I'm not going to get that coziness, that lovely, nurturing feeling of that woman. So the trick is, of course, finding it in a woman that is both. And that's the deal here as well, that you kind of find a compromise between two extremes, because if you go for choosing is losing, you could say, in this part for sure. And that's why people with Venus opposite Moon, they are not happy very easily. It's difficult for them to kind of merge these two things, and they can work a lifetime on it because it's a team to do that, and life will prompt them into these things. So, but this can also be included in this energy, that we are going to be tempted towards choosing either one or the other, and actually that it's all about how can we balance this. You could say in a very classical way, in a relationship, in a long-term relationship, it's a lot about that as well. It's a lot about a long-term relationship. You could say, how do I keep the passion, for instance, in a long-term relationship? How do I do that? Is it impossible? If you're already thinking it, then yeah, you know, or is it doable? Can we try to do both? Can we try to, you know, it's what Esther Perel is a fellow Belgian woman. She is a very known relationship therapist. In any way, she's a therapist, I think, I assume. And she is talking about this, you know, long-term relationships, and it's all about the Saturn, you know, the commitment, the safety, versus the Uranus, which is all about the newness. And we deliberately, when we are in a long-term relationship, instead of going for a passion with another person and then causing a lot of drama, we could initiate something so that there is a little bit more space between both of the people, with a lot of trust, of course, but with a bit of space, and then a coming together, and then going away again, and then coming together, so that you balance these energies. It's very interesting. She wrote a lot of books as well, and she's doing a lot, but I always prefer like the YouTube movies. It's a lot of interesting content that she is doing, but it's a lot about what is going on now in the heavens. So that were the 5 things. I hope that was a clear thing, and I hope it has helped you in understanding what's going on. And also, again, as I said, look at the other videos for a little bit more in depth and putting it all together. I wish you a very good lunar eclipse, a very good conscious lunar eclipse, making the best out of it with a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new, and you will get there for sure. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.